back on Perks Recap Podcast, 2 days in a row for me and Al, and this time Jordan joins us. And this time we're also talking about Major League Baseball and the free agent signings and trades and all the activities so far in the off season. Guys, how you doing?
Excellent, man. This is looking forward to talking some baseball.
Oh yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, and very excited. This is my year.
All
Nice.
right. Well, I have a list here, and do you just want to go down the list of I have it basically all the signings by date. And it
Oh yeah,
goes
great.
Oh
so
yeah,
the
yeah.
all right. So the first one that I have here is the Braves trading for Jorge Soler,
Mhm.
and Griffin Canning went to Atlanta in exchange.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Uh, um, I have my thoughts on that. I like that move. I think it's also maybe one of those things because they have Joe Adele up and right, but he can also play center. I think this is probably I don't want to say a panic move, but I think this is probably a move to keep Trout healthy. Uh, Maybe every once in a while he rotates with Soler as a designated hitter, and then Odell will go to center while Soler plays right field, and that way they could keep Mike Trout healthy and play longer than 20 games.
Yeah, which has been a problem.
Yeah, good luck with that. And I
All
love
right.
Trout, but good luck with that. Yeah.
Okay, November 3rd, the Royals re-signed Michael Wacha, 3 years, $51 million.
Talk about a guy reinventing himself, huh? I mean, he was a prime prospect with the Cardinals.
Every time I write him off, comes back and has a pretty decent year.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally. I mean, I remember when he was, big time Cardinal prospect and ups and downs, but he's had an ERA in the low threes for 3 years in a row now. So,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah,
he's solid. He's nothing spectacular, but he's solid as a rock.
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And he's proved it on three different teams. He can do it with different pitching coaches. It's not like he had his pitching coach whisperer and he won't be able to do it at the new place.
Yep.
yeah, and also I believe, what wasn't that last year like his first year as being a starter? Because he was always in the bullpen, and he did phenomenal as a starting pitcher.
Wait, Waka?
I think so. Or no, wait,
No,
sorry, I'm
Waka's been a starter his whole career.
I'm thinking of That's the second time I did that. I'm thinking of Lugo.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, the Lugo experiment that went so well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
man.
that yeah, no, but not like Waka. Also, why not stay? I think in a couple years, Kansas City will be great.
yeah, they're on the come up right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, they really are.
I think it'll be a couple years, but I think eventually we will see them go, and yeah, they have to have an ace at some point, and I think he's gonna be one of them.
Yep. All right. After that, we got November 4th. The Braves um, re-signed Marcell Ozuna for what I think is a deal for 1 year, $16 million, with a team option for another year. 16 million for him seems low.
Yeah, especially coming off the year he had. I mean, that.
2 years, right? The year before in 22, he had a really good year. Or 23, he also had a really good year.
Well, no, he's just a good player in general, but he batted 302 this year, and he's never, he's not an
Yeah.
average hitter ever, hardly. He's batted over 300 once, one other time his whole career. So yeah, no, that seems really, 1 year deal. He's getting up there in age, but he's not past his prime. So yeah, I
All right.
honestly, it's a no risk, perfect deal for the Braves. Very annoying as a Philly fan.
All right. So the
And by the
Braves.
way, he played 162 games for the first time in his career this year, 33 or
Yep.
4, whatever he was.
Mm.
Yep. Yep. So the Braves getting Ozuna and Soler in the fold back. Ozuna back in the fold and Soler in the fold. So they were kind of. No. I'm sorry. They got rid of Soler. So yeah, because they got Griffin Canning. My bad.
Well, they
And
would have led the entire league in strikeouts by double if they had both of those guys on the same team.
totally. All All right, then the Angels were the next team to make three signings right in a row. Kyle Hendricks,
Hmm.
Mm.
Travis Denard, and infielder Kevin Newman. Although I don't know much about him, I've heard of him, but I don't know much about him. Denard has been a rock solid guy as long as he can stay healthy, and Kyle Hendricks, um, he doesn't strike anybody out famously, and
Yeah.
he I don't know, he's never been one of my favorites. But I mean, talk about no risk. They signed him for 1 year for $2.5 million.
Yeah, and he has had a long track record of success, although it's been a minute, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a low risk, somewhat of a reward proposition. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, it would take him, by the way, 3 seasons to strike out as many people as times Jorge Soler and
Yeah, but the one thing I like about Kyle Hendricks though, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but the way that he pitches, I see it, it seems like an old timer, even though he has only been in the league for a couple years. I think like 16 was his rookie year or 15, but he doesn't try to throw the ball 100 miles per hour. He
No, he's going to be
he's like
able
it,
to pitch for till like into his 40s probably.
yeah, and he's smart. Like I said, he doesn't try to get you out with 100 miles per hour, like 90. I think like his highest people are saying like is like 89. He's in like an old timey baseball pitcher really, and I don't know. I like it. I think the Angels made a good move with this, just because they need pitching and they need it bad. Um,
Yes, they do.
but I like that. And then the same thing with Travis Darno. I think he'll be a rookie with the catcher the Angels have now, Ohapi. I think he's good. I think he's just there to help him out and see what he could do with that.
I like him too. Oh, Hoppy, big fan of him.
yeah, me too. And Darno's a solid veteran who's gonna, if you sign him as a starter, he's gonna get hurt and miss 60 games, but as a backup, he's great.
Yep,
All right, let's see here. The next one is the Guardians traded Eli Morgan to the Cubs, and there's a minor leaguer headed to Cleveland that wasn't named. Um, Eli Morgan was that one of their higher prospects or no? He wasn't, as far as I remember.
No, but he had. I mean, he had a heck of a short season. His numbers are crazy from this
Yeah.
season. You know, they're really good. But I don't know much about him. He's 28 years old, so he's on nobody's top prospect list. That's for sure.
Mm.
But he had he was in 32 games this year and had a 1.93 ERA and a .98 WHIP.
All right. Cubs making moves.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
All right. I'm not going to spend too much time on Eli Morgan.
No, it sounds like they got themselves a solid reliever. You know.
Yep. Solid as rock. Okay. So then we got Brady Singer to the Reds and Kikuchi to the Angels. Kikuchi was 3 years, $63 million. Um, Jonathan India and Joey Weimer, they went to the Royals?
Yep,
Was that was the trade getting Brady Singer?
yeah.
Yeah, they
Is that,
traded for
yeah.
Brady Singer, and I guess Jonathan India and Joey Weimer went to the Royals. Jonathan India's been with the Reds for a while. Kind of surprised that they got rid of him.
He was rookie of the year like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, and I like Brady Singer though. Brady Singer to the Reds, another team that needs the pitching.
That's a really interesting trade. That's two major league starters that you don't see those kind of trades every day, and that's a cool trade. Both
Mhm.
teams got good guys.
Um, Actually, the Reds. I don't know why, but the last couple of years they've wanted to get rid of India. No reason. I
Hmm.
don't. But they said they've always been looking to get rid of him. But I like this because now the middle of the infield, I don't think anyone's gonna be able to get a base hit because you have Bobby Witt and now Jonathan India.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a heck of a
that
double
yeah,
play combination.
that it really is. And but India, I think this is gonna probably be like a prove me year because just not that he's been terrible, but I think new a scenario for him. I think will be great. And as for Singer, I think the Reds are getting a great pitcher, and I know they need pitching. It helps out Hunter Green, who'll probably be the ace of that club, and him to be right there at the second position to help him out. I think for both teams, it's going to be a very good trade.
I
I
agree.
agree. I
Yeah,
agree. What about the Kikuchi to the Angels to go with Hendricks? So the Angels are making some moves for pitchers,
Um,
which they need, like you said.
I mean, if they could get the Kikuchi of what he was with the Houston Astros, I think it'll be a steal for the Angels. Just you know, I don't know, because every time we see Kikuchi, I always feel like he's been struggling, especially with his time with Toronto. But if they could, like I said, they could get the Kikuchi from Houston, then I think they have a great 1-2 punch with him and Hendricks.
Yep.
yeah. Listen, Kikuchi is a massive boomer bust. Um, he's had 5 years in major league. Yeah, 5 years in Major League Baseball. His ERA has been over 5 3 of those 5 years. And then this year, like Jordan said, he was a revelation once he got to Houston. But can he keep that going? You're taking a massive risk. By the way, I'm a big who isn't, but I'm a big whip guy. And to when I'm trying to figure out if a guy's going to be good moving forward, and it's not good on Kikuchi. Like he's had 2 years of whips over 1.5. So
Yeah,
Jeez.
I like him when he's at his best. Like this second half of this season, he's really good, and he struck out an insane amount of people. So if they can figure out how to harness that, awesome. I hope they do because I like the best
and,
of him. So we'll see.
yeah. I mean, again, I think it's just it's one of those things. Let's get not the big name guys, but guys that people know. Like we know the names. But I think for the Angels, it's also to be like no one in that team on that division. Sorry, is is really
Is
going to be
running
competitive.
right.
The Mariners. I mean, we've seen what happened with them, and the Rangers. They're the same team as they were 2 years ago. So why not take the shot and also get what the fans want, and that's what they want Trout in the postseason. And he doesn't have that many years left. He has 5 more years left on that contract before he's probably retired. So I think
He has 5 years left, Jordan.
his contract runs up until 2030.
That's incredible, man. It's going to be fascinating, by the way. Quick sidetrack to watch as we're in this era. And Mike Trout was one of the first of to get these crazy long deals that take people to 40 years old or so.
Mhm. It will.
Just how
Yep.
bad it works out the last few years.
Yep.
Like I love Mike Trout. I think he's awesome. But there's a chance in those next 5 years he doesn't even play 400 games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
can you?
He could
Well,
play 100 games a
not
year or less.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not to diss on the other one, but do you also say the same thing with Harper? He's got what,
Yeah,
6 years?
any of them. I mean, look what happened with Pools for crying out loud, and
Yeah,
Miguel Cabrera. You know,
yeah,
like those, they were in that first crop of long term deals with Trout and a few other people, and
Almost everybody regrets it at the end.
exactly. Now, if you get a couple World Series along the way, or one even, it's probably worth it. But do they? Are they, who you know who's going to get? Not all these teams are going to get their World Series.
yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, it's It's
I don't know.
fascinating.
Maybe the Angels aren't done. I don't know because I know I don't remember if you guys mentioned it on one of your pod, but no one Arenado, which is to me is weird. The 6 teams he gave up, which one of them or he gave out. One of the 6 teams was the Angels. None of them were like the New York Yankees. They like one of the teams were the Los Angeles Angels, which is to me is it's kind of weird, but
Odd.
I like that move because it's Nolan Arenado. He could help out Mike Trout anytime.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, it is fascinating that anybody would have the Angels on their list.
Yeah.
just based on how bad they've been for a while. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's so. Not everybody wants to play in New York.
yeah, true.
Some
Yep.
people are
All
very
right.
intimidated by that.
So the Dodgers extended Tommy Edman and signed Blake Snell 5 years, 182 million.
Man, oh man, I'll tell you, Blake Snell. We've had some conversations about Craig, and one of the more fascinating players in baseball. Um, you don't
He
want him.
just sucks every year until June.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you don't want him
I
in
mean,
April or May.
yeah, like not just sucks, like worst pitcher in baseball sucks.
Like
Like
horrible.
horrible.
Yeah,
You can't play him.
it's the
And then
weirdest thing.
it's weird. Then a light switch goes off in June, late June or so, and he's like the best pitcher in baseball the rest of the year.
Yeah, yeah. It's the it's the most extreme hot and cold, start slow, finish fast I think I've ever seen. I mean, it's wild. And
And it's consistent. It is every single year. This is not like 2 years in a row. This is like 3 or 4 years in a row.
no, every year doesn't matter if like last year he signed late and didn't do training camp. Didn't matter the year before he was signed in training camp. He sucked in May and June, in April and May too. So yeah, no, it's he's a fascinating guy. Good on the Dodgers. I wouldn't. He's too weird. He's so weird. I wouldn't want to.
I think he's grossly overrated. I am not a fan of his at all.
Well, I wouldn't want to spend that money on him. I'm with you, Craig. Like it's just too much of a risk. You don't know what you're getting from. It's just it's.
Yeah,
I
because what
love
if that there's a year where he doesn't find it in June and he just sucks all year?
Hmm.
exactly, and those
Yeah.
bads are so bad it can wreck your team early.
Yeah,
This is my opinion. I remember when the he got signed, and people instantly said, "This is the best rotation in baseball." It's not. It's far from it. I
yeah, I
don't.
agree.
And
Yeah.
here's my reason why. We all know Otani is not expected to come when pitching up in April. They don't know when he's going to pitch, so that kind of worries me that there might be something wrong again with his elbow. Yamamoto, what he was hurt from that what opening day to what May June, so
Yep.
I can't really say anything. Tyler Glasnow missed almost all of last season. Blake Snell, like you said, it gets his ups and downs. And then what's the fifth guy? Kershaw. Kershaw's done. He's the same boat with Verlander and Scherzer.
Yep.
They're all done. This is not the best rotation in baseball. I see what you're doing, but when was the last time you saw a team that had aces all lined up in a row? The San Diego Padres, when they had Darvish, Musgrove, Blake Snell. How did that work out for them? It didn't. They all sucked. And that's what I think this is going to be with the Dodgers. They're going to focus on, you know what? Hey, we have our hitting. Yeah, that's great. But if you can't bust up that rotation, and the rotation can't keep you in, and that bullpen is tremendous. I don't know why they didn't focus on getting bullpen help. They're not, this whole thing of people saying, can they win back to back? They're not going to win back to back. The pitching sucks. It and so
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
it's not good.
All right, I'm gonna roll off three names here.
Okay.
The Mets signing Frankie Montas, 2 years, 34 million. The Cubs signing Matthew Boyd, 2 years, 29 million, and the Rangers signed Kyle Higashioka for 2 years, 13 million. Um, Higashioka, career backup for the Yankees. I don't think he's that impactful for the Rangers. But if you guys want to talk about Boyd, and I got something on Montas, but if you,
Um,
oh,
I like Boyd. I know that's kind of
I don't know.
you
Yeah, I kind of like him too.
I like him, but also I think this is what the Cubs need. They need pitching because otherwise you just have Justin Steele. You have I'm blanking on the Japanese pitcher's name. That's
Oh yeah,
with the help.
he was good for them.
No, he was. And Matthew Boyd, he
Yeah.
was great for the Guardians, especially in the postseason. That one game against the Tigers,
Yeah,
he was really well for the the Guardians. And I think he's going to do well with the Cubs. As
I
for
did too. Cubs making moves.
yeah, which you like to see because again, your only threat is the Brewers.
Yep.
Um, as for Hiyoshioka, I like this move. I think it's gonna be more, back in a role where he did with the New York Yankees. He's gonna be a backup. But I think it's just again probably like a more of a veteran role. I know the people on the San Diego Padres as well as the Yankees pitchers say nothing but nice things about him. So I'm thinking this is probably what they're gonna do is try to,
Yeah, he's probably going to get one or two guys in the
yeah.
rotation to be their personal catcher.
I mean, the only two guys I could probably really think of maybe like Evaldi. Not really sure about
Hmm.
DeGrom, but but just something to help them out, and I think that's what the Rangers are expecting from him. And I don't know. I think he did well, and he certainly did great in 2024. And yeah, I don't dislike this move for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, me neither. Al, what is your thoughts on Montas to the Mets? Because I guess one thing I want to bring up about that.
I mean, it's interesting, like they just they've had a real propensity for turning around pitchers the last
Hmm.
couple years over there,
Well,
and
that's what I'm saying. They are calling their facilities the pitching lab.
yeah, right on, makes sense.
Yeah, and their GM, who I'm blanking on his name.
David Stearns.
Yes, thank you, David Stearns. He he does not believe in signing pitchers long term at all. All these deals are 1 or 2 years, and that's it. He does not want long term starting pitching, and that's why he's got to get these kind of lower guys. But as long as they keep turning them around and getting solid years from them, I guess it's worth it. But the thing is, I I'm not convinced. I mean, they worked 1 year. It's going to
Exactly.
work every single year? I don't think so. And plus,
How many examples can we point to of this? There was that one guy. Who was the guy? What's the guy's name last year? They're so good in the playoffs. I'm blanking.
But
Peterson.
Who is it?
I said Peterson.
Peterson. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of a starter.
no, you're thinking of. I'm thinking of two. I'm thinking of Severino and Mania because they both.
Manai is the one I was thinking of.
Right. They turned both of them around and they had great years and cashed in this year. But the thing is, like Montas, I think sucks. And I don't think, and no pitching lab is going to make him any better.
He hasn't been good since 2022, and he's never been a big stat darling because he's not a big strikeout guy. You know
All
what I
right.
mean?
We'll jump ahead for one more. Then also let's mention Clay Holmes here for 3 years, 38 million. They're going to make him a starter.
Mhm.
And who signed him again?
The Mets.
The Mets. Oh, now that yeah, that's right. And you called that. No,
You
you didn't call it to the Mets, but you called that he wanted to be a starter.
Yeah, but it's weird. I don't like that move for them either. Like I think the Mets are actually they're gonna obviously they got Soto, but I think they're gonna fall on their face this year with this pitching lab thing and there's no paying for any starters. I think this year it's gonna blow up in their face.
I hope you're right. And listen, it's a risky thing. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I had my dinger on. Um, it's a risky proposition. I mean, geez, you do it with two guys, and you think it's a thing forever. I don't know, man. And
Well, they did it
Montas.
with more than that because Peterson had probably his best year in the majors last year for them as well.
Okay.
He was good. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Now it's a thing forever. I don't think so. Plus, if you just suck, you suck, and I think Montas sucks. And Clay Holmes wants to be a starter, is going to be a starter, but like, really? I mean, out of nowhere, just he's a starter, and
well,
I don't like that at all.
Well,
well,
Seth Lugo guaranteed that was going to happen with a couple relievers this offseason.
Yep.
well. My take on that is, for Clay Holmes is, I don't know. I guess he wanted to be a starter, and he obviously had he was a starter with the Pirates when he came up. But
Yep.
people are always saying like they hate this move, but he had three starts. You can't kill a guy for having three starts.
Oh no, I'm not killing him
You
for
know,
3 starts. I just
well,
don't think
no,
you know
like everyone
why
is,
is he doing this?
but like I don't know. I think I like it. I would like to see what he does. What's the worst case scenario? You're a setup man for Diaz, or
Yeah.
which he knows. But other than that, I don't know. I like the move. for Montas, I don't know. I think yeah, that's a little bit weird
Jordan,
for me.
Do you think they're putting too much faith in their pitching philosophy? Because that's what I think the problem is.
I
I think
mean,
they're putting too much faith in this quote unquote lab.
I
And I
mean,
agree with you, Craig, for sure.
you, I don't know. I would say yeah, but then you could also say the same thing with the Dodgers. Every year they get a guy who is missed, who's lost in another team, and they bring him over, and somehow he's great. Tommy Edmond is an example of what like who the dude didn't play until he got to the Dodgers. you know,
Yeah,
so I guess that's they're gonna try to use that same philosophy that the Dodgers use all the time. But hey, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then maybe they do something around the trade deadline and try to get a pitcher to actually help them out.
yeah, yeah. I could see that too.
It's not like they don't have money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
All right, so we got Aroldis Chapman to the Red Sox, 1 year, 10 million, 10 million, or almost 11. And then on a surprising move, the A's give Luis Severino $67 million for 3 years. Not Did not expect that. That was out of left field for me. The fact that the A's actually spent some money. I think it's the biggest pitching contract they've ever given out.
That's the
I think
biggest
it's the
contract.
biggest contract ever. It
Yep.
exceeded Eric Chavez's extension, if I read right,
hmm
from years ago.
Where he was what 63 million.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Now for the Red Sox, is Chapman going to be the closer? Because that's not a good idea.
I don't
I
know.
can't imagine. They better not be.
Uh, I don't know. But
That hasn't been a good idea
oh
for 7 or 8
no,
years.
he'll be the setup man. They have a closer,
Who do they have?
Liam Hendricks.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Oh, I
That's
forgot they
right.
have Hendricks. That's a good call. Yeah.
That's
So
right.
he'll
Okay, so
be
yeah, no, then I like it a lot more. I
yeah
like him in the seventh or eighth a lot more than
yeah.
being the closer.
Definitely.
I mean they need more bullpen help, Boston. But
Yes.
I don't know. Chapman did have a not a great year, but he did have a solid year though for
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. And so I don't know. I'd like to see what else they can do, Boston, and then yeah, just see where they go from there. But yeah, I think he'll be. I think he'll most likely be the setup man for Hendricks.
Totally agree
That's awesome.
there.
And actually, it's Mason Miller, by the way, isn't it?
For who?
For the wait. Who did? I had a stroke.
We're talking about the Red Sox.
Yeah, I went to the freaking Oakland A's because we were talking about that other contract.
We were talking about Severino, yeah.
All right, I'm back. I'm back.
But
Okay, so the Sacramento A's signing
Yeah, the
but
Sacramento A's.
actually
Severino.
with the A's, um, yeah, I was confused about that too because easily Severino could be on a contending team. I don't know why, but someone did point out. I guess I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I meant to, but I just never had the chance. That since they're moving, I guess MLB did tell them, hey, because you moved, you do have to spend money, and
Oh,
so I guess they thought maybe this would be a good fit. Um, I mean, I think it would be, but you also have to hope.
I think he'll be like fine for them. I don't,
Yeah,
he's a solid pitcher, but it's just weird that's who they land on, give him that kind of money, and obviously they're not in any position to contend, and they're going to be playing in front of minor league,
yeah,
playing in a minor league park in front of like 8,000 people at the most,
totally, man.
maybe
Yeah, it's
maybe
very odd.
less, maybe more like 5,000.
I
Yeah,
think for
because is it going to lift them from 50 or 60 wins to 90 wins? No chance,
yeah, no,
So,
No.
but it is interesting just to see them sign a competent major league player.
Okay, so then after that, Danny Jansen went to the Rays for just 1 year, $8 million. Talk about a guy who never lived up, because when he came up, they were saying he was the best catching prospect in like 25 years.
No doubt.
Um, and then the Guardians re-signed Shane Bieber, and Yeah, let's talk about those two if you want,
Um,
guys. Want? I really don't have a whole lot to say on either one. Bieber just returns to the team. That
I
he was on. I like Bieber. We'll see if he can stay healthy. As long as he stays healthy, he'll be good. It's just a matter of health. And like I said, Danny Jansen is a major disappointment in my opinion. And the
Yeah,
Rays signing him doesn't really do anything for me.
yeah, I agree
yeah no
on that one.
um
Bieber's the bigger signing for sure.
yeah which like you said I like Bieber. I think this is a good move for him at least because
I know you love Bieber.
yeah
You mentioned that a few
He's
times.
a
You,
he's a
you love
believer.
I
yeah, he
do I
is.
listen I like
I
I
love it.
like him. I think this is where he needs to stay.
Right, but
You
you
know,
agree he has to stay healthy, obviously,
yeah,
right? Because
no,
that's a
he
major
yeah he
concern.
does. Boy, I believe that healthy wise, he's up there with
Yeah,
everyone else
I think
with
he'll be
race.
really good. I think he's
And
really good if he's healthy. But the
yeah,
problem is you can't keep him on the field.
well, especially this year, which was like a freak injury, which was insane to even. I forgot what the heck he had. No, something with his arm, but but
Like, when
I
was the
think
last time he had 25 or more starts? Because I don't think the year before either. Because in there somewhere there was,
2022,
yeah, in there somewhere there was a Tommy John too, wasn't there?
and then it was 2019 before that. He's pitched since 2020. He's pitched 12, 16, 31, 21, and 2 games. So yeah,
Jeez.
massive injury risk. Now the other thing I will say, and listen, I like Bieber too, but he started to his metrics started to slip big time in 2023. So it's something to keep an eye on. Like his whip raised significantly, his strikeouts per nine went down
Well,
significantly.
yeah, I mean, it says it in the contract too. I mean, he only got $14 million. That's not a lot for a top line starter.
Yeah, and coming off the injury is a
So,
factor, and those numbers are a factor. So I can't. I'm
right,
curious to see because he's still not old. You know what? How old is Shane Bieber? Late 20s?
yeah.
maybe early 30s.
What is
I
he?
would say like 30, 31.
29.
Okay, there you go.
Well,
So he's got plenty of time to be awesome again. It's
yeah,
just can he stay healthy and can he find his top game again? You know?
yeah, because obviously, and I think this is again another like proof, you another prove me year contract kind of for
No
him.
doubt.
But like you said, if he stays healthy, I think he's probably one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going
Well,
to go there with you, but
Yeah,
he could be. He was that one season for sure, and if he can find that guy again, because he
yeah,
wasn't in 2023 to me.
I think he could still be solid. Maybe not top of the top line, but I think at the
Yeah,
very least he can definitely be solid.
absolutely. I think he's like I don't think he's a number one starter for most teams anymore, but I think he's a really good number two.
Okay, the Giants get Willie Adames, who a lot of people were after. One of the most grossly underrated players in the
mm,
league. He got 7 years, 182 million. And then a pair of Orioles signings. Gary Sanchez, 1 year, 8.5 million. He's going to be the backup, so we don't really need to talk too much about him. We all know Gary Sanchez. We all know the strikeouts and the laziness. And then
The under
Tyler O'Neill.
200 batting average.
Yeah.
um,
And then Tyler O'Neill for the Orioles, 3 years, $49 million. But there is an opt out after the first year. Tyler O'Neill coming off a really, really nice year. I like Tyler O'Neill a lot. And the Orioles are bringing in the fences again. So maybe he'll be able to get a few over the fence for them.
If I could jump in on Willie Adamas real quick here,
Yeah.
though, because based on what you just said, it's a perfect time. Because I like Willie too, man. I'm a big Willie fan. But I'll tell you for fantasy purposes, just keep in mind the team he signed with is going to knock 5 to 7 home runs off his annual totals for the length of that contract. It is
Yes.
the
Yep.
one of the worst home run hitting ballparks in baseball since it's been built.
yeah,
Yep. And unlike
okay,
the Orioles, they are not bringing in the
No,
fences.
they are not bringing in
yeah.
the fences. They are not.
He- Here,
They are steadfastly refuse.
here's something crazy. Baltimore, not Baltimore. San Francisco hasn't had a guy hit 30 or more home runs in 20 years.
Is that for real?
Yep,
That's
the last guy to hit 30 home runs was Barry Bonds in 2004.
Jordan, that's one of the greatest stats I've ever heard in my life. That's insane. I would have never guessed that if you given
I
me.
Yep,
mean,
the
don't they see that as a problem?
the,
Right.
the
Come on.
here's the thing. The last guy to get close to that was Brendan Crawford in 2021. He had 29 home runs. But other than that,
And
20 years they have not had a guy
yeah,
hit
and Willie
30 or more.
Adames doesn't even hit 30 on his in his normal park. He's good for about 25, which means he's
Yeah.
probably going to be in the high teens,
No,
19,
Yeah, man.
18.
I think last year he did hit a little bit over 30.
Last year he got 30. That's the only time in his
Yeah.
career he got 32.
Okay.
So
But
So maybe maybe 22, 23 in
yeah, that's where
national.
yeah.
exactly where I'd settle in, Craig, somewhere
But
in that ballpark.
I mean, I think this is a move the Giants had to make just because I don't know that whole team. I don't know what the heck happened. Like they're literally a few seasons out of what something crazy. They beat the Dodgers by like one game for the division a couple years ago, and then
Yeah, right.
ever since then they just they've fallen flat. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna do anything until we actually see them do the moves. And I understand Buster Posey is the baseball president, is the baseball operations, but he's in one signing he's not going to do anything for the Giants.
Agreed. Okay. On December 8th, the Dodgers signed Blake Trinan and Michael Conforto. We don't really need to spend too much on these guys. Trinan, we know who he is. He's a good reliever. He's been with them. It was just a re-sign of 2 years, 22 million.
Yep.
And Conforto hasn't been significant in baseball in 5 years.
Talk about
Um,
injury issues.
Yeah,
yeah, 1 year, 17 million. I think they're trying to catch lightning in a bottle, see if they can get a few dingers out of him. But he's someone I really don't even consider as that viable anymore.
You know, he has played at least 120 games for 2 years in a row.
Okay.
which given my what it was in my head about him,
But what were
surprised me,
what were
Josh.
the numbers
Well,
though?
that's the thing. The numbers stink. He batted 237 and 239 those years.
Yeah, so that's what he is now. He's like he's a less power Gary less power Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, there you go. There
Got
you
a
go.
210, 220, and gonna give instead of the 30 that Stanton will give you, he's gonna give you like what 20
yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Yes, yes, yeah. And the Dodgers like to just throw bodies at positions. They'll sign six guys for three spots and see who shakes out. You know what I mean?
All right, guys, I'm gonna name guys, and if you want to talk about them, we will. But if we gotta pick up the pace, or we're never gonna get through this list. There's a lot of signings, and we're already 40 minutes in.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, no, whatever you want to do, man.
Yeah, like we gotta talk about the. We're gonna talk about the major ones, obviously, because that's the next one we're gonna do, and the next one is Juan Soto.
There it is.
What do you think of this signing for the Mets?
Jordan, you go first, please.
Uh, I mean, I think it's good for them. They did well towards the end of 2024. Um, he's a great player. He's 26 years old. You know, he's in his prime. If not, he's gonna get there eventually.
Which is scary, by the way. If
Yeah,
he's not even in his prime yet, and he might even
Yeah,
get better.
seriously.
yeah,
He
yeah.
might
But
actually get better.
Nuts, right?
to me, what this move is, I don't know. I think it was about the money, but at the same time, I think there's also different aspects with it. Just because Craig, I know you said if it was close, he would go back to the Yankees, which he didn't, which kind of shocked me.
Yeah, but it wasn't close. It's not as close as people think.
Yeah,
It really wasn't.
yeah, I
They
know,
gave
but
him something like a $40 million signing bonus, and there's ways for this contract to go up to 800 million.
yeah,
The Yankees didn't do any of that. It
yeah.
wasn't really that close.
Also, I think this is also probably what people are saying. I'm starting to agree with it. I think he just wanted to be a leader on his own team. I don't think he
Uh,
wanted to be
Yeah.
with Judge, to be honest with
Well,
you.
the thing is, he's not the best player on the
He's
Yankees,
going.
and with the Yankees' history, he can't go down as an all. He could go down as an all-time great in Yankees history, but he'll never surpass, the ghosts of the Yankees past.
Yeah,
And for the Mets, they don't really have anything like that. He could go down as the greatest Mets hitter of
yeah.
all time.
And,
At the Yankees, that's not possible.
and I know that like people are saying like, well, Lindor. Well, like I don't think Lindor is not going to surpass him. Lindor is just that's how he just had a great second half in 2024. But I think it's more focusing on him and hey, who are people going to see for the next 15 years? They're going to go come to City Field to see Juan Soto. I think that's basically
Absolutely.
he wants to be on his team, his own
Yeah, he
team.
wants to be the guy. He
Yeah,
wants to be the guy.
and eventually get that. Otherwise, here's my take on it. If the Mets don't get Alonso or anyone to back him up, I don't think
Their
it's worth it.
lineup sucks. Their
Yeah,
lineup is not good. People are like that. Like it seems like they think all right they got Juan Soto and they're they're going to be awesome,
then
but
no.
they've got the same lineup without Alonso,
Yeah, and
and the
it's
Right,
rest of them
right.
is not that good. Their catching prospect, the young catcher, he was up and down last year and more down than up.
mm,
Yep.
You're counting on Vientos to take another step forward. Um, the outfield is not that good. I mean, what's his face? The center, the guy who was playing center. They signed him just last year again. They re-signed him.
what Taylor?
Nimmo.
Nimmo, yes,
Oh
he's overrated. I'm not a big Nimmo guy. Um, yeah, everything about this is they need more bats. They need like two more. They need to sign Alonso and somebody else.
yeah,
I don't think their lineup is that good at all.
no, it's not. It's not
I
that.
agree.
It, I mean, I, I'm not gonna get mad, like downplay on Vientos because I think he could be something. But you, what's Soto gonna do if Mark Vientos is batting behind him?
He's
Like,
gonna walk.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's
that's right.
it doesn't make. And no, they need another guy. They
I
need.
mean,
I think they gotta go
I
get.
mean, say what you want about the Yankees and how they pursued him or whatever in last year, but part of the reason he had his best year was that guy batting behind him,
Yeah,
Yeah, no doubt.
and
100%.
there's no one even close to that on the Mets. And even if it's Alonso, but he's got batting average questions now, and he's getting a little older, and I'm not sure if he's that much of a. I think he's viable enough for a year or two to bat behind him, but after that, they need to sign another big bat.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they have holes, man. They have holes for a team that just spent almost $1 billion on one guy. They have a lot of holes.
Yeah,
and,
they
Yeah,
and
really
this
do.
and if this pitching lab thing doesn't work as well as it did last year, and I mean that well, they're in trouble.
Big trouble.
yeah. Well, they'll make a trade for some guys. I
Yeah.
believe.
I mean, Lindor's fine. Lindor is fine, but I hear now he's going to bat third, and Nimmo's going to bat second.
And
Um,
where's Soto going to bat fourth?
third.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Lindor. I'm
That's
sorry.
not what. That's not what I
Lindor.
heard. I,
What'd you
I
hear?
heard Lindor will bat leadoff and Soto will bat second.
Oh, all right,
Because
all right. So if it's second or third, all right. So then after that would be Nimmo,
probably, and then you go Vientos,
and then Vientos.
and then maybe Jeff McNeil.
That's what I mean. Like, where you go? Like after that, it's the catcher. What's his name?
oh,
Alvarez or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then
He's you know he's
what
up
Marte?
and down, and then Marte, and then who do you got at third? Batty. They're gonna bring Beatty back up.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
oof.
unless they get Alonso or somebody.
Even at second, the guy who had the oh my god hit there, he's not even there. He's the free agent, right?
Yeah.
So they're not even bringing him back. They got Acuna's brother, um, who might be a player, and he
Yeah.
could probably play
And
second.
the deal, yeah. Man, I don't know. It's just like because the other acquisition they got was Jose Siri, who is I don't know. I don't like him. I'm not a big fan of him.
Yeah,
Because
he's gonna be batting like fifth in this lineup.
yeah, well, Jose Siri is all talk, not, all talk, but not enough show.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I hear you there.
what hit bats 195, but hits a home run and acts like he just hit 60.
That's awesome.
Anything more to add on that, Al?
Yeah, no, listen. That they got a great player. They spent an exorbitant amount of money in a incredibly long deal. They'll have him until he's 41. Is that right?
He'll turn 41 when the deal expires.
Yeah. So it's in that same class of contract we were talking about with Harper and all these other guys that had these big long deals. So who knows where it'll be in the last 5, 6 years of that deal. But for now and for the next 10 years or so, they got one of the best players in baseball. So it's hard to argue, and it's not anybody's money but some billionaires. So what the hell? Um,
Yep.
but they are sorely lacking still overall. So I'm curious to see where they end up. I mean,
And Alonso, they're saying that the talks have stalled, but everybody's still assuming that he's going to eventually sign with the Mets. But I think the Mets only want him for 1 year because I think they're definitely going to go after the big boy in Toronto for first base.
okay, okay.
Vladdy. They're going to go after Vladdy. I think for sure he's going to be their first baseman next year. So
I can
that
see it.
means
Or
that, and because I
mm,
don't think they really like Alonso. I don't think Stearns is that fond of him and doesn't really want him that much. But the fans do. So I don't know.
yeah, no, it's I don't know. Or maybe you could probably no, probably do both. I think they could do both. If they get Alonso, then what? After in 2026, he just moves to DH and Vlad beats the first baseman.
Yeah, they can do that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think there's more they need to do.
DH is also the future of Soto at some point too because his right field is bad. Can you imagine him when he's like 34, 35 playing right field? No.
Yeah,
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah.
All right. I think we exhausted that.
I like it.
So the Tigers sign Alex Cobb, another guy who had a lot of hype, never really lived up to it, gets hurt all the time. Don't know if that's really that consequential. And then the Phillies getting Jordan Romano for 1 year, 8.5. You want to speak on that, Al, for a little bit?
Yeah, I love that signing, man. The Phil's off season has been interesting. We'll get into the other signings as they come up, but for this one specifically, they let two key people in their bullpen walk, Estevez and Jeff Hoffman, and from what I'm hearing, they are not coming back. So getting somebody like Romano was essential. Um,
Yeah, that's a great signing.
it's great. It is, and they needed him because
He's,
they don't
he's
have who
fantastic.
else is closing games for that team right now.
No one, right?
Right. So the two guys that were closing their best closers last year are on the market right now, and by everything I'm reading, they're not coming back. So it's a real bummer
And
to lose.
Romano's better than both of them, though.
I see. I don't know about that,
mm,
man. Jordan Romano is all. I like Jordan Romano a lot, but pull up Jeff Hoffman's numbers from last year and find a better year that Jordan Romano had.
All right. All right. That's interesting. All right. So, but I mean, well, let's say Romano is more proven than those guys.
Yes, as a closer
mhm.
for sure.
I agree.
He's a viable closer.
He's a very good closer, and I like him. I'm just saying, Hoffman is a. It's they didn't gain anything by losing Estevez and Hoffman and signing Romano. It's a net negative.
Okay. Okay.
And I love Romano. That's not a bust on Romano. He's just not as good as those two guys combined.
So they got to get somebody else, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and they are their GM has come out and said he's not. They're done.
Really? What about Tanner Scott? Isn't he out there
Yeah,
still?
I would love Tanner Scott, but if you can believe what Dombrowski's saying, they are done. Period. With pretty much everything except trades.
Very interesting. Andres Jimenez to the Blue Jays, not a needle mover for me. He's another guy never really lived up. He's okay, but this is not a winning kind of move. Really, it's a whatever kind of a move for me. It's okay. And the Rangers get Nathan Evaldi, 3 years, 75 million. He's been solid for a while now. He's a really good, probably low number two, high number three kind of pitcher, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, but
perfect. I agree
for
100%.
yeah,
100%.
but for the Rangers, he's definitely gonna be the ace. There's you
Yeah,
have to trust him.
that's not a good ace. He's not a
Yeah,
No.
good
but it's
ace.
either that or Degrom.
Uh,
Who would you pick?
right,
Well,
of
Degrom will
course.
be the ace for the 3 games he pitches this year.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he Evaldi's coming off. They actually have his year here: 170 innings, 166 strikeouts, 12-8 record, 1.11 WHIP, very good WHIP. So that's
Yeah.
good. But their ERA is almost 3.80, and that's I don't know. We'll have to see. This is a typical Texas kind of signing. These are the kind of pitchers that all go to Texas.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
I
perfect.
agree.
Yeah.
But I
And
like him. He's still solid. Like I said, solid number two or three. To be the ace is not good. I guess while DeGrom's there, he would be the two. But who knows how long that's going to be. Let's move on.
love it.
The next signing is the New York Yankees signing Max Fried for 5 years, $218 million.
Wow. You Yankee guys go. I think it's great.
It
Go
wasn't
for
it
it.
8 years, not 5.
Did I
Yeah.
say five? No,
Oh,
it's 8 years.
I heard 5. My bad.
Yeah, 8 years,
Which
218.
is the most by any left-handed pitcher in baseball. Yeah,
Baseball history, yeah, the most
which is
money a
crazy to think
left-handers ever
because Randy
gotten.
Johnson didn't get that much.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
if he was pitching now,
Yeah.
he would. But the
Um.
problem is he was pitching too long ago.
Look, Max
No
Fried, I
doubt.
like it. I like Max Fried. I think this is a move the Yankees had to make a bit just because I don't trust Carlos Rodon as the second guy behind Garrett Cole. Now Garrett Cole has somebody. I know I was talking to my dad. If they actually made this move last year, I think the World Series would have been tied for both game 1 and 2 would have been tied 1-1. Um,
Yeah,
which
yeah. I mean, he's so good. 174 innings, a 1.16 WHIP, and an ERA of
yeah,
3.2. I will tell you now. He's a lefty going to Yankee Stadium, which you need lefties if you're on the Yankees because you got to protect that short porch
but
in right field.
yeah, and the
Perfect.
other thing that I also like is I've seen like the clips of him talking about Yankee. He doesn't seem phased to be you know like you always see the guys that like hey, I'm happy to be here and this and that. He doesn't seem phased, and to be because I think this would be a great move, and that whole New York's gonna get to you. I don't think it's gonna get to him. I think he's ready. He's ready to put
Uh,
on the pressure.
and he's had success in the postseason as well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you guys nailed. You guys got a home run on this one, man. I mean, other than maybe being a little dicey at the back end of the deal, this is a home run.
Yeah, I love this move. I love the fact that he can be the number two, slide Rodon into number three, which is where he's a, a, a uh, much more valuable option at the three spot instead of this number two.
Yeah, you can live with his ups and downs a little better at three for
Hmm.
sure.
Right, right, right. All
And I
right.
would personally like to thank the Yankees for removing this son of a gun from my division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, one last thing. I'm going to just pose the question. You said that the Dodgers do not have the best starting staff in baseball. Do the Yankees?
Ooh.
I think it's up there if it's not the top.
Can you list off their 1 through 5?
Well, right now it's Cole, Freed, Rodon, the Rookie of the Year Heel,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Schmidt.
Okay. Okay. That's
I like
excellent.
Clark Schmidt a lot. He's coming off a really good year,
That is a heck of a rotation for sure.
and they all. I mean, technically they still have Stroman, but everybody says they're going to trade him. So
Right on. Right on. Maybe they can trade him to the Phillies for Taiwan Walker.
Uh,
I think it's a solid
yeah,
rotation.
I do.
I do too. I'm just trying to.
I,
I'm not coming up with anybody off the top
I,
of my head. I'm
I,
trying to
Remember
frantically.
the start that Heel got off to last year. My
yeah.
God, he was he was like leading for Cy Young by at the All Star break.
He was. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. No. He's
So
up and
him as the
comer.
number four, I'm loving, and he's young. Obviously, Schmidt's young, and pitched his best year, coming off a really good year for him. His ERA was in the threes, and he started all year. Yeah, I'm a Schmidt guy too, so I love that rotation. Duran,
Man,
what do
yeah,
you
that's a
think?
good one. And the Phils are in the discussion too, I think, a little bit,
Yeah.
Um, and I'm trying to think of who else would be in
I,
that.
I
But
put
yeah, no, I
I'm
definitely
gonna
the
put
Yankee guy. Who's that?
my hat in, but we'll talk about it later. I think Arizona.
Arizona.
Okay.
And they just got a big signing that we're getting to soon.
I think Arizona.
Who's the rest of the rotation?
Well, Gallon will be what, number two. You probably
Who was that?
Gallon will probably be number two. I think. I'm trying to think on top of my head because they just started.
Zach Gallen.
Well, I mean, he probably
Gallen's really
yeah,
really
but he
good.
probably also won't be the ace, so it'll probably actually work out better for him. Um,
No, he's a great. He's like the best number two in
yeah.
baseball, or one of them. Yeah, that
Oh my God, I'm
who they
trying
signed.
to.
Yeah.
They don't have the top two. They're top a little top heavy because the three that I'm seeing listed after that would be Brandon Fat,
Yeah, but I think he'll be number five.
uh, Eduardo Rodriguez, and Merrill Kelly.
Yeah, I don't think that's as good as the Yankees.
Their top two's awesome, but yeah, they don't have the depth in my mind either. Looking at that, unless this thing's missing something, which is possible.
And
Um,
they might not be done. We'll see. But I mean, their top two is great, like you said.
Yeah.
yeah, like astoundingly good. Yeah, that's a great playoff rotation once you need to shorten down.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
No, it'll be yeah. Gallon will be two. Kelly will be three. Right. Rodriguez will be four, and then yeah, you said Pathé will be five. And if they keep Montgomery, he'll be a six starter. But I think Montgomery's gone.
right, right.
Right on, right on. Yep, I'm with you.
Okay. The Marlins traded for Jake Berger. Or I'm sorry, they traded Jake Berger to the Rangers. So the Rangers get a viable first or third baseman, which are where they want to play him. So then the Rangers had made some moves, getting Evaldi. Now they got Berger. Um, he's a
Hmm.
solid home run guy. He's a big power guy. Batting average and on base is not that impressive. 250 and a 301 on base is pretty putrid. So he strikes out a lot.
Yeah.
But he'll probably hit about 30 home runs in a regular season every year.
Yeah, heck of a move, man. I thought.
Yeah. No, it's not bad. I think it'll be good.
Solid.
I don't know, but the only thing I is like I 1 through 4 of that lineup I like. The rest I don't. For the Rangers.
Yeah, it's kind of like the
Yeah,
Mets.
because like what if you're gonna
Yeah,
go right now with the Rangers lineup, you have what Simeon batting leadoff, followed by Seager, Garcia, and Berger. That's really it. And
That's a good
no,
four,
it's a
though. That's
good
a good
four.
start.
In but I don't know. The rest of the lineup I don't like. I think they got approved. I think like Wyatt Langford now has. This is gonna be a tough year for him. Like because since he would like everyone was so high on him in 2024. Uh, the catcher, blanket with Heim. It was up and down. They got a lot of questions in that lineup for me,
Yeah, I agree.
and,
I
and
agree.
yeah.
also
No, no, no.
the
They
bullpen needs
definitely do.
work because I think the closers are free agent. Um, the
Oh, yeah.
Leclerc is a free agent,
Oh, that's
so
right.
Yeah, they just got to bring
yeah,
him back.
they got to do more. I don't think this is enough. I think if lucky they'll probably. I don't know. I think we might see a repeat from last year.
All right. The Yankees re-signed Loizaga. We all know who he is, what his deal is. As long as if he can stay healthy, he's good. The problem is he doesn't stay healthy. Hasn't in a few years, but he's got lightning in his arm. He's a really good reliever when he's out there, but he just can't stay out there. Um,
Right.
so hopefully, hope for health for him. Um, Red Sox trade with the White Sox for Garrett Crochet.
Wow.
This is
Yep.
a move they needed to make. Their pitching has been awful, and now they found their ace, and I think it's a perfect fit for Boston.
Absolutely. Totally agree. They needed this. They needed some pitching
Mm,
for sure.
yeah, 100%. And for a guy to come off a great season, um, started as a relief pitcher and then made the transition as a starter like it was nothing, which is kind of insane to say. But no, they needed this move, and I'm glad Boston actually has done something because they've been awfully quiet the last few off seasons.
Yep.
This was huge, man. I mean, this guy is I like. I know they got a decent haul from the Red Sox, but it wasn't a mind bending haul, and I was
Well,
expecting that.
the real prize was Kyle Teal. He's the number.
Yes,
He's a number 25 overall prospect in all of baseball.
yes,
So I got a Red Sox fan that I work with who actually was kind of upset losing Teal. I mean, he was happy to get Crochet, but he's like, I really was looking forward to seeing Teal. So we'll see what that. The rest of it are all lower guys, but that Teal was the prize.
yeah, and that just didn't seem high enough to me, or even close for what they got, because they got a guy who's younger than Kyle Teal and already proved it in the major leagues.
Yep.
Yep.
So I mean, I thought they got a steal, frankly, and if every other team that didn't get him should be pissed at themselves for not offering up a little more.
Yeah. Okay, the Yankees trade for Devin Williams. Get rid of Nestor Cortez and Caleb Durbin. Did not like losing Durbin. I was kind of looking forward to him in that same respect, like that Red Sox fan. I kind of wanted to see Durbin with all that speed. He stole something like 70 bases in the minors last year.
Man,
Um, but you get Devin Williams, who's arguably the best closer in baseball. Arguably, either way, he's up there. ERA last year of 0.97.
yeah, he's my
Yeah,
favorite.
he
He's my
he.
favorite guy.
It, I think this is what we were talking about earlier, but he also needs to stay healthy. But when he's on, he's on. He's like lights out stuff, and to have him as the closer, what Luke Weaver,
Yeah,
you
viable
know,
closer now,
yeah,
actual closer instead of
and
by
which is
committee.
weird because I honestly don't think the Yankees really had a great closer since Mo left. I
They had Chapman for a while, and he was good during the regular season, but he always
yeah.
gave it up in the for
Well,
the
then also
postseason.
he sucked against the Red Sox. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, they had that. You know, I would really put it, to say, this is what I think, but it kind of does remind me of 2015. If Devin Williams and Luke Weaver could be phenomenal, I think it might be what 2015, um, where the first half it was what like Andrew Miller in the eighth and then Chapman in the ninth, where they gave up like no runs for a crazy amount of games. I think we could see this
yeah.
too. We could.
Because Luke Weaver was
Oh, he
phenomenal
was
last year, absolutely
on
phenomenal.
fire.
Yeah,
And to have him in the eighth inning, that's
And
so
we
good.
always talk about relief pitchers going to starting pitching. He was the opposite. He was a starting pitcher going to the bullpen.
yeah,
Yeah,
isn't that right? Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't that
So
interesting?
he was the
yeah.
opposite of what's going on now.
And that
That's
other re-signing of the Loizaga, if he's on and healthy, he could be the seventh inning guy. I mean, Loizaga, in my opinion, is as good as any reliever in baseball if he's right,
Yeah.
if he's healthy, and if he's right. I mean, he's had some up and downs here and there, but his ups are unbelievable. I mean, like I said, one of the best in baseball when he's on his game and pitching well and healthy. You got to keep him healthy. But if he can get back to that, he could be the seventh inning guy, and that's a great 7, 8, 9.
No.
yeah,
Yeah, I
that is.
agree.
Yeah, Loiga's a beast if he can be healthy, and
Or I don't know. Well, it's either that or they go re-sign Tim Hill. And probably be.
Yeah, I mean, they got some other guys. Obviously, Ian Hamilton is still with them. I think there's a few others. Oh, don't they have the guy who's always hurt too? Didn't they re-sign him again? I forgot his name. It'll come to me. Either way, let's move on. The Cubs get Kyle Tucker. The Kyle Tucker sweepstakes Also, another one of the best players in baseball when he can stay healthy. Last year he wasn't healthy, but he still hit 23 home runs in. It doesn't have at bats.
Hold on, I can look it up.
23 home runs and 50 RBIs. He was on his way to becoming like the MVP of the season before he got hurt.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, batting average 289, on base over 400, slugging 580. His OPS was almost 1,000.
Oh, okay, here you go. He hit 23 home runs and 277 at bats.
Yeah, like way less than even half. I mean, most of them you get about
And he only
600. So maybe half, maybe a little more than half. So he was on pace for like 45 home runs and then 100 RBIs and 25
and
steals.
he only played 78 games.
Yeah, it's amazing, man.
Um.
Unbelievable. Yeah, he's one of the best players in baseball, and the Cubs, that's a huge move for them.
Oh yeah,
Huge.
absolutely. It. I think it.
They gave up Cam Smith, who is the number 7 overall prospect. That's
Yeah, but
the the prize there. But and Isaac Paredes is nothing. Then another reliever that nobody knows much about. It's all about Cam Smith.
yeah, but
Anyway,
no. But
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Purdy's
And
is going to be the third baseman now for the Astros
that makes
because
sense.
I Bregman's gone. Um. But yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what the Astros are doing. It kind of makes me think that this their long run that they had is over because if they gave up Kyle Tucker, then
Yeah, that
Valdez.
signals to me that they're
Yeah, and I
resetting.
think Valdez might be the next one to go because he's out in 2026, and Jordan is also not.
I would say if they're having a tough year, look for him to
Yeah,
move at the All Star at the
yeah, and
deadline.
then Jordan is not too far. I think he's a free agent in either 27 or 28. I'll have to look it up, but yeah, he's he's gone. But yeah, the Cubs. I actually liked it. I like that they're finally competing, and I also think
Yeah, and they also signed the next one is Carson Kelly, 2 years, $11 million. He's an okay catcher. In Arizona, he was solid.
yeah,
He's nothing special, but he's pretty good. It's a nice
yeah,
signing.
yeah, not a world changer, but a solid player to add to your team.
yep,
Yep. All right. So the A's trade for Jeffrey Springs, who I am a big fan of. I love Jeffrey Springs. I picked him up in fantasy on a whim, and he was so good for me when he was in there. Big fan of his, and I mean Sacramento A's are making moves.
Yeah, what the hell is going on? And yeah, I like Springs too, man.
Severino and Springs in the top of that rotation, pretty good.
Yeah, isn't that
mhm,
wild? What is going on? I'm so used to the A's just mailing it in that my head's spinning a little bit at them actually trying.
yeah,
Yeah,
mhm,
yep. Isn't it funny we're going to have two major league teams playing in minor league parks?
yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
yeah.
And one because of a natural disaster, and one because of just a brutally incompetent organization.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which it's crazy, but hey, where?
Yeah, it's wild.
How long is it going to take us to remember to say Las Vegas A's when that happens?
Oh God, I'm still calling the
You still,
Cardinals in football the St. Louis Cardinals, Greg.
you always say San Diego Chargers too.
Yeah, I did that. Yep, I do that all the time. Yep,
Yep.
yep.
But I do that. I do that one too. So it's going to take a while.
But yeah, we still
Oh,
got I think what 3-4 years before they even move to Las Vegas.
Yep.
isn't that
Uh huh.
crazy, man? Isn't that crazy? Are they locked into this minor league stadium that whole time,
I
or is it
think
year to
so.
year?
Yeah.
Isn't that
Yeah.
something? Wow.
That's it's a disgrace. Um.
Yeah, it really
You know.
is. The good news for them is they won't have any less fans than were coming to their other stadium.
Yeah.
Right. It'll look
Yeah.
fuller.
Right,
Honestly,
exactly, exactly.
even
Yeah,
though
4,000 people looks better in an
yeah
8,000 capacity stadium.
even though the last game in Oakland was awesome, I enjoy that.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
cool,
that
Yeah.
yes, and
was
that was nice
Yeah.
to send off. Yeah,
You know.
absolutely. because there were good times in that
Oh yeah,
place
definitely it would. Yeah.
eons ago.
So moving on, the Orioles signed a Japanese pitcher Sugano for 13 million. Don't really have much on him. Well, he's a mystery. We're not going to see. We're not going to know what to expect from him till we start seeing it. And then after that, it's the Yankees getting Cody Bellinger for Cody Poteet. And it's what's weird is the Yankees actually got cash as well. They got Bellinger in cash just for Cody Poteet, who he's a nice prospect, I guess, and he did some spot starting for the Yankees. But I'm kind of this shit looks like a fleece to me. Like, what are the Cubs doing in this deal? I mean, they made some nice signings and nice moves. I just didn't understand this one.
I
This is a straight up salary dump.
I also think
Yeah.
it was a thing because well, they got Kyle Tucker, and then two, the center fielder is gonna be Ian Happ, who they're very high on.
What about first base?
Well, yeah, that I don't know, do it, but maybe
Because Bellinger can play
yeah, unless
first.
unless the first baseman was already, unless they already have a good first baseman, I can't think on top of my head, but I don't know. I do like this move. I think it was the Yankees were high on them. I'm just very surprised.
We'll have to see. I'm not a big Bellinger guy. I think he's overrated big time. But we'll see what he can do at
Oh,
Yankee Stadium and that short porch. I think he's gonna be able to hit more home
oh
runs
no,
for
that's
sure. But he strikes out a ton, and he does not have a good high on
yeah. Well,
base
I
at
think
all.
that's what they're hoping. And also, the first baseman for the Cubs is Michael Bush. So
So yeah, they should have kept Bellinger then to play
yeah, but
first.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck the Cubs are doing, but it's listen. The Yankees got a left-handed bat. I think that's another thing that was coming up to mind is
Oh yeah,
they
that's huge.
needed one and they needed one that
And he's gonna go right between Judge and
yeah,
Stanton.
and also I think he'll play left field. I think he actually has to play left field because Dominguez can't play left. But
They're saying Dominguez is doing nothing but shagging fly balls in left field this entire
I don't know.
off
I think
season.
he's more of gray of a center fielder.
I do too, but because he was brutal in
Yeah,
left, but if he can be competent, I think they want him to try to go to left because Bellinger's a really good center fielder.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it was a
Uh,
fascinating move. Low risk, high reward for you guys, and I just think it was a salary dump because they got Tucker. You
Yeah.
know,
yep. Okay, Mets signed Griffin Canning. Um, Another guy doesn't live up to the hype. Not doesn't really move the needle too much for me. But again, he's in that lab and that they believe in, so maybe they think they'll be able to get the best out of him. Again, though, these low years, these low contracts for starting pitchers. Another 1 year, $4 million contract. Um, when Griffin Canning's bad, though, he's horrible.
he's awful.
Yeah.
He's awful. And this really shows you how arrogant they are right now with they thinking they can fix people because there
Yep.
is no way you're interested in this guy otherwise.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe he could become like a Luke Weaver and become a reliever. Because
Yeah, that's a reasonable thought.
Luke Weaver wasn't a very good starter, but he's an excellent reliever.
Yeah, this guy's had 1 year in Major League Baseball with an ERA under 4, and it was 3.99.
Yeah, I'm
His
not a, I'm not a, I'm not a Griffin Canning guy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're going to find out just how good that pitching lab is with a guy like this. His career ERA is 4.78. His WHIP is 1.33. If he becomes a viable pitcher for them, I'm going to buy stock in this pitching lab.
Mike Soroka goes to the Nationals. You know what? Last year, Mike Soroka was 0 and
Yeah.
10.
Wow. Remember when he was awesome?
Yeah,
Well, that's also because he's 0-10 just because he also played on the White Sox. Um,
yeah, but his own ERA and WHIP though, his WHIP is 1.4 and his ERA is almost 5.
Yeah, it was a combination of bad pitcher on bad
yeah.
team. Yeah, 2019 seems like a long time ago now for Mike
It really
Soroka,
does.
unfortunately. He was
Yep.
Yeah, that's just crazy, man. I don't know what happened with him. I don't know. Yeah, I know he got hurt the next year and never bounced back, but just weird. He was so good that one year and then just never again.
Hey Al, what do you think of your Max Kepler signing? 1 year, $10 million.
I like it. I mean, listen, am I fired up like they got Juan Soto? No, of course not. But this is a perfect low risk, high reward deal.
Yep.
If they get the best Max Kepler, they're going to make out like bandits. If they get the worst Max Kepler, it's not that bad. It's still not that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's only 1 year, so you can just get out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I'm all for it, man. I was a little bummed to find out that they're done. You know,
Right.
that surprised me because they made a couple nice little deals. We'll get to the other one soon enough.
So he
Um,
figures into their starting outfield then, right?
Yeah.
yeah, he's going to be their starting left field.
Yep.
Which is not.
Yep. And
Well, sorry. Go ahead. No,
go
I
ahead.
was
I'm
saying,
sorry.
which is not that bad because well, for me at least, center field and left field is great. I like Max Kepler and Brendan Marsh is good. The only thing I am worried about is right field. I don't have faith in Castellanos. Um, but
Yeah, you're right there with you, my
but
friend.
I also think this might be like a year where they um they just do the low signings because in uh Al, maybe you know the years directly, but I want to say like in 26 and 27, that's when Schwarber and Castellanos come off the books. You know,
Yeah, they've got a couple big years
and
coming.
no,
Yep,
and my other thing is maybe also they're doing this because, and in my opinion, I think they have to do. I think they have to re-sign Real Muto. I know he's a free agent after this year, so maybe they're trying to save money to get him back because he's been excellent for the Phillies.
well, that's what I was going to bring up. That's a big one, and it's a big decision with Real Muto because until 2 years ago, to me, he was the best catcher in baseball. I mean, that was his nickname actually, best catcher in
Mhm.
baseball.
Yep.
And he he's fallen off the last 2 years a little bit. He's starting to get old. He's still a great player, and I would love to have him. But are they going to sign him to like a big 4 year deal to take him to 38 or 9 or whatever it would be? Like, or are they might have to let him walk. So it sucks because I love him and I hope he's there for another few years. But it's a
I can see them letting him walk though because the production has gone down. It's obvious, and it's very unlikely he's going to get it back to any degree close to where he was.
right. I
Right.
completely agree.
But he's probably going to want that 4 year for this will probably be his last contract. He's probably going to want that 4 year deal, and maybe the Phillies don't do it. I don't know.
I don't think. I mean, I love JT Realmuto, but I wouldn't sign him to a till he's 40 years old. That's crazy to do that with a
Hmm.
catcher. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, man, because his reputation and his play for his entire career will get him a one last deal for sure.
Yes,
So I think the odds are he'll probably be gone because they're going to want that money towards something, a little, I hate to even say it, but a little more better spent than a 36-year-old catcher.
Yeah.
all right. That's the Kepler deal. Gio Urshela, not really a player of consequence too much. Also to the A's though, A's continue to make moves. Um, he's just a solid infielder type. He can play a bunch of different positions, and he's nothing special, but he's also not terrible. He's not going to kill your lineup. Um,
Yeah.
and then the Red Sox signed Patrick Sandoval, and I hate this move. Not because I'm jealous or anything. I hate it for them. Like I think Patrick Sandoval is another one of these way overrated guys. His ERA last year was 4.8,
Yep.
4.08. I'm sorry, 5.08.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
geez. Yeah, it's worse than I even thought.
His
Okay. Yeah,
ERA
yeah,
was
yeah.
Yeah.
five last year. What are they doing? They signed him to 2 year for 2 years, 19 almost $19 million. Like what? He's not good.
No, that surprised me too, man. I'm
He
with
was
you. I
supposed
don't
to be good, but he
understand it.
never really
I don't
turned
know.
into that.
No, he came out with a lot of hype and never really delivered. So yeah, I'm with you. That was just a shocker
I
to
don't know.
me.
Boston has become one of those teams where they, I don't know. It feels like they just gave up. You know,
Yeah, like
like
this is not a winning
no,
kind of a
it's not.
signing.
And
This is just to throw stuff against the wall and see if it sticks. That's all that is.
Honestly, yeah. And but you know what? I think it's because they're also stuck with Trevor Story, who that had to be the worst contract in their history. Um,
Well, that one, or don't forget, they also had Chris Sale, where they never got anything
yeah,
out of
that
him
too. You
for
know,
that one for a really
but
long time.
And then he became awesome the second they got out of it.
but but the other thing is that they, I don't know, like they used to have such great pitching, and now it's just, I don't know.
Now it's Patrick
Yeah,
Sandoval. All right. Um, Small move here. The Yankees trade Jose Trevino for Fernando Cruz and another catcher, but Fernando Cruz isn't. He's a fireballer. He throws like 100 miles an hour, but apparently he doesn't know where it's going at all.
Yes.
oh that's great.
So but Matt Blake likes him. He definitely throws hard, and Matt Blake, I got to give him a lot of credit. The Yankees put together a bullpen every year that's usually pretty solid, and it's a lot of guys that you never even heard of sometimes, and he still gets a lot out of them, and so I'm thinking that's probably what they're hoping for here. But obviously, if it doesn't work out, it's not no big deal. Trevino was, he's like a starting caliber kind of catcher. He's a great catcher defensively, but the Yankees got Austin Wells now. He's the guy for sure. So I mean Trevino about a 215. I mean, so
Right.
he's not much with the stick, but he is a great defensive catcher.
Yeah, it's an interesting. It's a high upside move for the Yankees. I mean, they got a flamethrower who hasn't found himself yet. They basically traded for Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn.
Or or Rick and Keel when he was a pitcher.
Oh, remember Ricky and Keel?
Oh, dude. Yeah.
He lost that so bad. He lost it so fast where he did not have any idea where it was going.
He was chucking balls all over the stadium. It was wild. I'll never forget. That
Hmm.
was wild, man.
Can someone possibly look up Fernando Cruz's numbers?
I got you.
Hold on, let me see.
Cruz, Cruz. I just wanted to get a better idea of him a little bit. That's all I heard about that he doesn't know where it's going, but I did not hear any numbers ever.
Here
So
we
I
go.
Last year in 68 and sort of 69 games, he was 3-8 with a 4.86 ERA,
yeah.
six,
But what are the strikeouts?
109,
Yeah, look at this. In 66 innings,
yes,
Craig.
How
66.
many?
66 innings. 109 strikeouts in 66 innings.
And there you go. There you have it.
And there's your upside.
There it is. Exactly. That's what the Yankees. That's what the Yankees got, and I like that. I like taking that chance, seeing if they can. And how old is he? He's young, right?
um, uh, Born in 90. What would that make him? 24?
No, 34.
34. Oh, I guess wow. I guess he's been around and I didn't realize it. Yeah.
Oh shit! I did not realize that. Yeah, I thought he was
No, well, he
young.
does this his fourth year.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, I just assumed he was young because he's only been in majors for 3 years. Yeah.
So he
Huh.
came up when he was 30.
Yeah. How about that?
Oh, yeah, that's not as good as move as I thought. Then
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm
Man.
not. I mean, maybe they could try to harness something, but I mean, he's already 34 years old. But he does have a lot of strikeouts. But we'll see. That's
But
kind of disheartening.
but that's you know what? That's what you get for a backup catcher that bats 215. If you do
Exactly.
as well as you
Exactly.
could possibly do for a backup catcher that hits 215.
Yep. The Guardians traded Josh Naylor to the Diamondbacks. I don't like Josh Naylor that much. Um, Plus, he's a dick to Garrett Cole. Um, he's okay. The Diamondbacks, all right. They get their first baseman. Um, I don't have a lot on Josh Naylor. He's okay. That's the best I can do.
Yeah, I mean, I consider him a little better than okay personally, but it's not a earth rattling move, but it's a pretty good move. I mean, the dude has he has 97 and 108 RBIs the last 2 years,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's a run
Yeah, no.
producer.
and it's weird though because he batted 308 2 years ago and 243 last year, but ended up with 31 home runs in the lower batting average season and only 17 in the higher batting average. But he delivers RBIs, so he's all
Yeah,
right.
he's all right. Okay, Al, your Phillies get Jesus Luzardo.
Now I love this. Now this is a Lazard's a big boomer bust guy, and he's really only had what maybe two good seasons in as a pitcher. But
Yeah, last year's ERA was bloated though to 4.99, but
yes, and he
he's
was
got
hurt.
the upside, and we've seen him be good. So you got to try. You got a good shot here.
Yeah, man. Listen, and they didn't give up any of their top guys. They didn't give up
Nope.
any of like the guy you said about the catcher for the Red Sox that they had to give up in that trade.
Yeah,
Uh,
Teal. Yep.
yeah, they didn't give anybody up even close to that. So I, what the hell? I mean, this guy has had a modicum of success. He was a highly thought of prospect, and hopefully it can work out. We'll see. They needed to do something because the Taiwan Walker contract has been just
Yeah.
horrendous. Like
I
they're not even talking about him being on the 40-man roster this year, and he's still got another, I think, year or two left at somewhere around there.
Jeez, you're gonna have to
It's
eat
Yeah.
crazy.
it.
Hmm.
Um. Oh,
Yep.
Rosario, the great number three for the Phillies. I think it'd be really good.
Yeah.
I know he even said that his goal is to stay healthy to make this team win because he says that you know
Yeah, he's had some health
they're so
problems.
close. Um. So I like that they are definitely trying, but instead of going after the big guy, they got on and they are going on and getting a trade from Miami, who, like you said, has he's willing to try to stay healthy as much as he can.
Yeah, man, their rotation is. I mean, listen, Lazardo might be the fifth starter on this rotation. Honestly, I mean, you got
Yeah,
Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola that are locked in at 1 and 2, but is Lazardo better than Chris Sanchez and Ranger Suarez? I'm not sure.
yeah. At best, probably maybe the fourth, maybe fourth, but that's it.
Yeah,
No
and listen,
higher.
if he can be the number three, if he's going to be better than Suarez and Sanchez, I
Yeah,
love that's
and
awesome.
the thing is, he's got a shot to be.
He does. He really does. So this could be really big for the Phils. But I'm keeping my expectations tempered. Put it that way. But I like
Yeah.
it a lot.
Okay, Yankees get Paul Goldschmidt from the Cubs,
Aha! I know you have thoughts on
or
this,
from
Chris.
not from the Cubs. He was a free agent.
Free.
$12 million is not that much.
No.
For 1 year, 12 million. Does that signify the possibility that they are also going to be in the Vladimir Guerrero sweepstakes? Even though he says he'll never play for the Yankees, I think that's
Yeah,
BS.
but
And if they're the
he
highest bidder, if they're the highest bidder, he's
yeah,
going to
but
go there.
here's the thing with Vlad. He ended up changing his mind because his dad talked to him and it's like, dude, this is a business. You're gonna play with
Yep.
whoever wants you, and his dad.
Right. So I think getting Paul
But
Goldschmidt for 1 year says they're going to try to
yeah,
get
but
Vladdy.
either is that or they're gonna try to put pressure on Ben Rice, who I don't think is really a first baseman, because the people were even asking Paul Goldschmidt. I've heard it on three separate interviews. Howard, what you gonna teach Ben Rice? What you gonna teach Ben Rice? What you gonna teach Ben Rice? And so I think the Yankees are way too high on Ben Rice, and I think they're gonna try to have Goldschmidt, help him.
Yeah, I guess that's not a bad idea. That's not bad. You see what you can get out of him. I'm not a big Ben Rice guy either. I liked him last year, the 3 home run game here and there when he first started, but he really fell off towards the end.
Yeah, but I mean, you add veteran leadership. It,
Yeah, I
it,
like
it
that
helps
part,
out.
that
It's
aspect
a
too.
guy who's been here. He's done that, and also he's ready to win. He's never won a World Series. And he's running down
Yep.
his career. So why not do it with a team who's really really good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give yourself a shot. He's giving himself a shot,
Yeah,
for sure, for
Yep.
sure. And maybe they can get that, because he was really good 2 years ago. He fell off big time this year, but he's been good in his old age. So,
Yeah.
it's possible it comes back
yeah.
again.
Yep. All right. The Nationals get Nate Lowe, who was a who I wanted the Yankees to get for first base, but the Nationals get him. Didn't give up a big time prospect. Nate Lowe is solid as a rock. He's nothing spectacular either, but I like him on two. He doesn't kill you anywhere. 265 batting average, on base of 360. Those are all solid numbers. 16 home runs, 70 RBIs. Might get a little bit of a home run jump if he was in Yankee Stadium. In Washington, I'm sure it'll probably stay around the same. But I like Nate Lowe. I've always liked him.
I'm with you, man. I'm a Nate Lowe guy. I thought they got a steal. They didn't give up much, like you said, and this is a solid dude. And he missed 20 games last year, so that explains a little bit of the home run dip too. So
Yep.
and 3 years prior to that, he played at least 157 games a year. So this is a solidly healthy guy in general. So yeah, I like it for the Nationals. It's not he's not one of the best players in baseball or anything, but he's a very good, solid player.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. All right. This Guardians signed Carlos Santana. I am not a Carlos Santana guy. Batting 230 every year now. And the good thing that he used to do was get on base a lot and walk a lot. Even that went way down.
Yep.
Um, so I got nothing for that. Joe Ross to the Phillies. What do you think of Joe Ross? 1 year, $4 million. That's another. I think this is more of a. We'll just see what if we can get anything out of him, right? Like they're
Yeah,
not really counting on him.
he's going to be the long reliever slash fill-in starter. That's what they're signing him to be, and they signed him because Taijuan Walker is a complete failure.
Makes sense.
This was the Taijuan Walker insurance signing.
Okay. All
Yep,
right.
he'll probably play more than
Uh,
Taijuan Walker unless Walker refigures himself out again. Because I don't know what happened to that guy, but he's been a disaster.
I do want to say one thing about Carlos Santana, and this is how you tell.
Yeah.
This is how you could tell that Seattle it has the worst luck. He turned down more money and more years just for Cleveland. The Seattle Mariners gave him a
One year.
2-year deal and like something like $20 million, and he said no.
Wow.
So
I
Wow.
do like
yeah,
that for him. I
All
do like
right.
a good old hometown discount. And one thing you have to say about Carlos Santana is he is smooth.
yeah, but he's also done it all, and also I forget about this until people brought it up. He's also started as a catcher and just did
Yeah.
not.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, that's
I
what I
remember
still
that.
think of him as.
Yeah,
Oddly.
so he's actually has had some success as a first baseman.
Yep.
Yeah, he's been around a long time, had good years, and like Craig said, he used to be an OPS machine because of that on base
Yeah,
percentage. But he's very, he's
It's gone
old
down.
and he's declining
His
too.
on base last year was 3.228.
Yeah,
It's like
and he's just, he's
point
40
two
years
three.
old, so he's declining. So this
Yep.
probably like a solid. It's nice to have a nice veteran leadership guy on the team, and at best, maybe he rediscovers what he was 2 years ago.
yep.
Yep. All right. Um, McCutcheon goes back to the Pirates. We don't have to. We all know McCutcheon. We all know what he is. He's getting older. Just 1 year deal, $5 million. We can move on from that. We don't really need to discuss that. He was there
Yeah.
last year. The Mets get back their de facto ace and Sean Manaea, 3 years, $75 million. They paid him not quite like an ace, not 30 million, but pretty close. And that's basically what he was. He was not really an ace, but he pretty close. 3.47 ERA, 181 innings, 184 strikeouts. So like a 9.1 strikeout every 9 innings, 1.08 WHIP. So that
Yeah.
lab, another example of that lab working well for a guy last year because he's never done those numbers.
And they invested in their. This is because we were talking about their short term propensity with pitchers, but they got him and they ran him through the lab. They liked the results and they gave him 3 years,
Yeah.
which for them is a lifetime for a pitcher.
Yep.
So now we're going to find out if this lab works long term.
Yep.
Because it's not like Manaea was awesome the rest of his career. He was very mediocre the rest of his career. He only had one other season that compares at all to what he did last year, and it wasn't
Yep.
even that. It wasn't that good. So, yeah, I'm really curious to see how all this works out for the Mets in the long run. Obviously, as a Phillies fan, I know what I'm rooting for, but it's a fascinating thing. Like,
Yep.
They are investing in guys that currently stink, making them better, and then in this case, giving them a good contract. So this is fascinating. I'm really curious to see how it works out.
To be honest, I'm a little surprised they let Severino go.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Well,
'Cause he came off
yeah.
coming off a good year
Well,
too.
Well, it's hard to hang with those big spending A's, Craig. They're not the first team to get outbid by the A's. No, I'm obviously.
Those Sacramento A's.
yeah.
Are they going to be called the Sacramento A's?
As of
Oh, I
right
don't think
now, they're
question.
just going by the A's.
Oh, that's right. They don't have a city attached to them, right? It's
Yeah.
just the A's.
Is that
Yeah.
what they're doing?
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
A team has no home.
Yeah, because they don't.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Wow, fascinating. That's
They
such a
should
weird
go by the
situation.
Sacramento A's. Why not?
Right. There's probably all
Or just
kinds of
start calling themselves
legality
the Las
bullshit.
Vegas A's now.
Yeah, there's probably legalities involved and stupid stuff like that. But I'm with you. They should they should at least claim something.
All right, the Rangers get Jock Peterson. He's bounced around his entire career. Also, never really quite lived up to everything. He's had some decent numbers, decent years. He's going to give you a decent batting average and on base and a good 20 home runs or so. Solid guy for the Rangers. Nothing spectacular, but really solid. I kind of like Jock Peterson, especially that on base was a lot higher than I realized. His on base was almost 400.
His OPS last year was 908.
Yeah, his on base was 0.393.
Yeah,
That's
I mean
high.
that's he's he has been a righty killer for years.
Yep, but
And
he
every
can't
now
hit lefties though. If like he's one of those guys when a lefty starts, you sit him.
and that's the thing. Like, the Dodgers tried to make him full time a few times over the years. And he was just never able to hit the lefties, well enough. But he murders righties, man,
Yep,
murders them. So yeah, no, I like Jock, and if you're smart enough to figure out how to use him right, he is a super valuable tool for a team.
agreed. Jordan,
This guy
anything
hit
to add there?
23 home runs in San Francisco for crying out loud in 134 games, and we
Yeah.
know from Jordan's awesome stat earlier how impressive that is.
Yep. Anything to add
Uh,
there, Jordan? Jock Peterson. What do you think of him?
ever since he left the Dodgers, I think he's been solid. I like this move for the Rangers. I think they kind of need help in the outfield, and he can also play a little bit of third base, and also adds another left-handed power bat to the lineup, which I think they need as well.
Perfectly said. Okay. The Red Sox, along with Patrick Sandoval, signed Walker Bueller, but only 1 year for 21 million. This is a prove it year. This is a prove it deal for Walker Bueller, coming off a terrible season where his ERA was 5.38 and his WHIP was 1.55. So that obviously they're hoping that Walker Bueller can rediscover it, and I'm sure he is too. And we'll see what they get. But again, this is not a great winning signing in my opinion.
No,
This is a fascinating one to me. I would have been fine personally taking Walker Bueller on a 1 year deal, prove it deal, because this guy was phenomenal for a few years.
I
But
agree.
man, I don't
You,
know what to
you're
make of him
you're
at this
putting
point.
too much. You're putting too much risk. Like between him and Sandoval, this could blow up in your face, big time.
It is a lot of risk, no doubt about it. Now, at least listen, unlike Sandoval, at least this guy has been good,
Right, right. Real,
and not
very
just
good,
good, but
very good.
great. So Sandoval is just a piece of just a turd they're hoping to polish into a diamond. Walker Bueller was a diamond that they just have to scrape off a bunch of crap.
Yep. All right, we got to rip through some of these here. We're at an hour and 40 minutes almost.
Oh wow, flying!
Yep. All right, so Glaber goes to the Tigers. We know what Glaber is. I think he'll be fine for the Tigers. He's going to give him he's going to do what he does. Teoscar Hernandez back to the Dodgers. We saw that last year. We know what he is.
That's a big one.
Uh, Solid as a rock. He's really good. Um, and then we gotta. We can't fly through this one though because Corbin Burns is next
yep,
to the Diamondbacks.
yeah, that was that.
That was what we were talking about
That
earlier.
was shocking, just because you never.
He turned down so many other teams.
Yeah, and also the he was favored to go to the Giants, and yeah, it just not like he wanted to go there. I mean, I guess if you know the story, I guess it makes sense. He's from Arizona, and his wife just had um, like they I guess they had like their first children because she got birth to a set of twins. So I guess it makes sense for him, and you know. So
Yeah,
he just
I could
wants to
see
stay
that.
home. I mean, I think it's good for Arizona because now you could compete and give the Dodgers a run for the money.
Well, yeah, especially on the mound with their first 1 and 2
Mhm.
starters are probably better than the Dodgers
Yeah,
starters. So yeah, Burns, one of the best in baseball, obviously.
This is a huge deal. Huge. I mean, um,
There is an opt out after 2 years, though.
I didn't
yeah.
know that. Opt
That's
out for the
interesting.
team or for the player?
It doesn't. I think it's the team. It doesn't say. It says 6 years, 210 million, and then in parentheses can opt out after 2 years, but it doesn't say if it's the team or the player.
I would assume it's the player because he had too many people after him to take a deal where the team gets any control over anything.
But
Right.
Um, Interesting, man. Yeah, this is a lesson in remembering that the things that seem obvious to us as from the outside are not what's most important to all these guys.
Yep. Yep. I
I
agree.
Because that's how a guy like Corbin Burns ends up in
I
Arizona.
just want to know how this work out for Arizona because this is interesting. The last time they signed two big stars, one got traded and Zach Greinke, and the other one got released in Madison Bumgarner. So third time the charm.
I can't
Yeah,
see him failing. I can't see him. He's too good, and he's not really old or anything. I think
Right.
I think they're going to get good
No, I
years
think
out of
so
him.
too.
yeah. Yeah. No, this is interesting, man. Because Arizona was such a fun team 2 years ago, and then had that horrible start last year, and then came back and finished strong. And does this put them right back into the mix? I mean, it's they're an interesting team for sure. They're in a bitch of a division.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Small move for your Phils with the White Sox getting Tyler Gilbert from you guys.
Oh
You
yeah,
got a minor leaguer that wasn't on the top 100 minor league guy, but whatever. Yeah, Tyler Gilbert. Like I said, small move, nothing major.
yeah. Nothing big
Um,
to talk about there.
okay, so those are all the moves. We've done the moves. Now, real quick, let's run through some of these guys that are still
Wait.
left.
Yeah.
Wait. I
Okay.
know you want to get, but do we talk about Christian Walker going to the Astros?
You know what? Went right over it. My bad. Yes, we
Okay.
did not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, another guy I want the Yankees to look at. Yeah, that's why they let that. Well, you know what? It's weird. The Astros, like you said, it seems like their window's closing and they're giving up a little bit, but then they go and do this.
Yeah, I don't know what their thing is, but he is a good fit though. I like him. I think
Oh, I do
he's gonna
too.
fit well. And then if he has the year last year, what him and Jordan would be another scary 1-2 in that lineup.
Yeah. Yep. But they had to replace Kyle Tucker, and he's not as good as
No, but then that
Kyle Tucker is.
outfield for the Astros is awful.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just rip through where you think people might
Mm,
go. Alex Bregman is going to end up where?
Detroit.
Huh. Yeah, I've been seeing that too. I think I'm going to go with Jordan on that one.
Okay. Pete Alonso.
Mets.
Mets.
Yeah,
Yep. Somebody's going to give him that. Anthony Santander.
I'm gonna go a surprise pick. I'm saying the Los Angeles Angels.
Oh, okay. I could see that. What do you think, Al?
Man, this is a tough one for me. I really don't have a strong. I'm honestly, I'm just glad it's not the Phillies. Um,
Yeah, I'm not a big guy. I know he hit 44 home runs, but he literally did almost nothing else. Like
Yeah,
that's it, and I don't like those guys.
like you get a 1 year deal, I'm fine with it. But if you're signing a guy like that to a long term deal, you're rolling the dice. I kind of like Jordan's Anaheim, but I don't really have a good answer on this one. I'll think about it and come back later.
Okay, what about Jack Flaherty?
Ah, Jordan.
I don't know. It's hard because there's not a market for him. Like the only thing I've heard was he had mutual interest going back to Baltimore. Um, I don't know. That's a very very tough one for me.
Yeah, Baltimore's interesting. Um,
Yeah, they just lost Corbin Burns. It would make sense for them to try to go back and
Yeah,
get him.
I know what. Screw it. I'll say Baltimore. He'll go back to Baltimore.
okay, I'm gonna do a wild card one here and throw the Giants in there.
I can see that.
They need help, and they have spent some money this offseason, so maybe they'll spend some more. I don't know.
Okay, well, let's move on to the guy that I want the Yankees to get, and I don't think they're going to, but Tanner Scott.
Oh man,
That's
Who needs a closer? That's a good team. That's what I'm
Dodgers.
thinking.
exactly. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'm trying to pull up a list frantically.
Dodgers. I mean,
Huh, man,
Yeah, I could see him
they
going
need
to the
they need a
Dodgers.
closer.
that's a good call. That's a really good call. Wow, yeah, that is.
I say the Dodgers, or you know what? No, I don't know. I was like,
What about how high are the Cubs on like Porter Hodge?
Oh, that's true. I could see the Cubs.
yeah.
I'll go Cubs. What the heck?
All right. Okay.
He's a big
Another
one, man.
guy.
Oh,
He's a great
you know
pitcher.
what?
Sorry, Craig.
I got one. I mean, I know they're high on Iglesias. How about the Braves?
Oh
Ooh.
yeah.
And the Braves don't have any problem loading up
Yeah,
on
the
pitching.
the
Absolutely.
Braves might be my answer. Him as the closer and Iglesias as the eighth inning guy.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. That's a good. I hope you're wrong, but for my sake. But that's a great call.
Okay, another guy that I kind of has some interest in from the Yankee side of things, and I wouldn't mind them picking him up, and I don't think he'd be that expensive. Jurickson Profar, coming off probably his best year, but either way, I just like him. I've always liked him, and he can play a bunch of different positions. He can fill some holes on a team, and yeah, I like Jurickson Profar quite a bit.
Jordan, you go ahead first. I have a lot of thoughts on Jurickson.
Uh, this is Tigers. I think he'll be good for the Tigers.
I agree.
Okay,
That's a great call. I also like Craig's Yankee call. The thing with Jurickson is it's going to depend on how much a team is willing to risk on years with him. Because if you can, if he's willing to sign a 1 year deal, he's going to have 20 teams beating his door down. But if he wants 3 years or more, it gets dicey because this dude. I mean, listen, this
I'd
season.
give him 3 years. I wouldn't go more than that, but I'd give him three.
Okay, here's what you had got for your last 3 years. One season you batted 243, the other 242, and then the year you just got. Um, and the year he batted 242, he had 9 home runs and 46 RBIs and a 689 OPS.
Yep.
So this guy's been real up and down his whole
Right.
career. It's a gamble, man. It's a big gamble. I hope he's finally found it at 32 or whatever he is now. But I'm not sure. I wouldn't want
I
to
don't.
gamble
I don't
3 years
think
on a person.
anybody. I don't think anybody's going to give him a long term deal.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see if he can get. It will surprise me if he gets more than 2 years. And
If the Yankees can sign him for 2 years with like a team option for the third, then I would do that.
yeah, that's reasonable to me. That's worth the risk to me. And if you can get him for a 1 year deal and you have to pay an extra few million, then you won
Yeah,
big.
and what do you think he's going to sign for 10, 12 million, something like that, maybe?
I would think somewhere in that range. Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
imagine
The
it's going to
Yankees,
be.
the Yankees, if they get rid of Stroman, he's making $16 million. That comes off, and they can sign Profar because they're
Yeah,
not signing anybody until they get rid of Stroman. Because people, think that they're willing to go over the tax. They are not. They're going to get under that tax this year, and they're hell bent on it. But they can do that by getting rid of Stroman and getting Profar, and then be done, and not be under the tax and feeling pretty good.
Yeah, and if you get anything close to what he finally put together this year, you're getting one hell of a valuable Swiss Army knife.
Yep. What do you think, Jordan?
No, I think that makes sense for the Yankees. I mean, I don't know, they do need help. I think they still need help at third and well, actually probably third because they said they want to move Jazz to second. Um, so
Yep.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Um, no, no, I
Yeah.
think I mean I don't know. I wouldn't mind giving him the 3-year deal, which he wants. Um, but I like I would sign him anywhere because, like you said, he could literally play anywhere except for catcher and he could pitch.
He could even play.
Yeah,
He could be the answer at third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's a really interesting guy, man. He's a there's a big boomer bust element to him, but he could be very valuable.
Yeah. He could back up basically
yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
All right. Just a couple more here. Your guy there, Carlos Estevez.
Well, I'll tell you where he's not going to end up is back in Philly because Dombrowski has made that clear. I don't think they have enough in the
Yeah,
bullpen sanctions.
he's not a real high end closer reliever type. He's solid, but he definitely has some blow up. Like his numbers aren't overwhelming.
No, he's good. He's
Yeah.
not great. You
Yep.
know. Yeah, I know. He's gonna. How many closers are out there still? We got the Tanner Scott. Who else is out there still free agent closers? Does anybody have
I
that?
think that's about it.
Hold
Okay.
on. Well, you guys can tell. I'll try to figure out.
In the meantime, if you find anybody else, let us know, Jordan. But in the meantime, if that's correct, Craig, then I would say whatever team needs a closer after Tanner Scott signs.
Right. I can see that. He
um,
might go to the Dodgers.
yeah. But one of those two people could end up on the Dodgers for sure. I hope it's not Tanner Scott.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind them having Estevez because he's not scary.
Yep.
He's good. He's okay. You know.
What
uh,
about Nick Pivetta?
Oh, the old Philly man who's had some great seasons and some terrible seasons. Talk about up and down.
Yep.
What did he like? Let me pull up his stats real quick because I don't know where he's coming off of last year.
so for relievers, you got Tanner Scott, um, Jansen, but
Oh, Jansen is
yeah.
out there too. That's right. No, but he's legit. He's 100 years old, but he's still going to be closing for
Oh, here's
somebody
a
this year.
sneaky name. David Robertson's a free agent.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Is he still
Yeah,
pitching?
he pitched last year with the Rangers. Uh,
He's what is he? 39?
something.
He is
Hmm.
39. Nailed it. And he had a 3 ERA with a 1.11 whip last season, so he's
Yeah.
still
So
killing it.
still doing it.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to sign him to close, but he's a big relief
then
tool out there
yeah,
for
then after
sure.
that, they're kind of guys who are okay. Well, these are like all relievers. None of them are really closers, but Kirby Yates, Leclerc, um, Kimbrel, but he's done. Oh
Oh
wow,
God,
Paul Sewald is a free agent.
Oh, I love Paul Sewald.
yeah, me
He's a
too.
free agent. Andrew Shaven's a free agent.
Wow. Sewald being out there is surprising.
There's a really good reliever market this year. It's
Right,
really
Ryan
strong.
Yarbrough is a free agent.
He hasn't been good the last year or two, but he had a really nice run with Tampa for a few years as kind of their every now and then starter slash long man.
Yep.
Oh, Tommy Kahnle, Tim Hill, they're still free agents.
Canley was the Yankee reliever I was trying to think of.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
They brought him back. I wouldn't mind bringing him back. He when he pitches, he's good. But another guy though, he can't stay healthy.
Um, and yeah, that's all I have right now. Otherwise, no one really good. But yeah, those are the what's left out there.
It's a good
All right.
crop of relievers. Three that I would say are closers, right? With Jansen, Estevez, and
Scott.
Tanner Scott.
the best one. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and don't forget Seawald. Though. I think he's a good closer.
Did he?
Or
Is he?
he could be a closer.
I was going to say because he didn't close last year.
Yeah, but he's been he was a closer for Seattle for
Yeah,
a while. He had some
and
good
then
years.
he was also the closer for Arizona in what 22 when they won the World Series.
Yeah.
23.
Yes, pretty decent year too.
Yeah.
I don't know why he wasn't. Why wouldn't he have been closing last year?
Oh, you know why? Because he struggled like drastically, and towards like the first half, and to where they said you're no longer the closer.
That's right. I forgot. Okay. Yeah, he had an
Yeah.
down year. That's right. Okay. That's the life of relievers.
Yeah. We mentioned real quick Nick Pivetta, solid guy in anybody's rotation. Kind of surprised he's still out there. He's a good number three kind of guy for me.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe if you have a really good rotation, he could be a
Yeah.
four. But I think if a three, he's
You know,
fits in nicely with a
are,
lot
are
of
we are
teams.
we still guessing where we think he's gonna go, or
Yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
the San
Oh yeah.
Diego Padres.
I could definitely see that.
That's a great
That
call. Wow.
that would
I
be
like
a
that.
good rotation, especially with if they could get Michael King to be him again. Oh, that'd be great.
Yep.
No,
Um,
I like that. I'm gonna go with Jordan on that one. I like that a lot.
okay.
Okay.
Two more. Alex Verdugo.
Mm.
Um.
Anybody can have him, just as
Well,
long as it's not
who
the
needs a
Yankees.
light hitting, poor fielding left fielder?
Well, he's a great left fielder
No, I know, but
defensively, but
didn't he make
but
that? Didn't he make a clutch error in the postseason, or am I making that?
he makes mistake. He makes some mistakes every now and then. But in terms of like spectacular catches and diving catches and things like that, he's pretty good.
No, I know he's
You,
good in
you,
general.
you
Yeah,
know,
that's
just because I think they need to improve in their outfield. Houston Astros.
Oh, I can see
Houston
that.
Astros on a 1 year deal.
Yeah, and that's probably why he hasn't signed, is because he's probably hoping for more, but nobody's going to give him probably more than
Yeah,
1 year
but
because he's coming off a bad
yeah,
year.
yeah.
Houston's.
It was a.
Oh my God, Houston's outfield is. I think it's the worst outfield ever.
What is it as of now?
Jake Myers in left. Uh, Chad McCuck, whoever, how you ever pronounce his last name, is in,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
then the something Dubois and up and right.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
that's
That
their
is what you
outfield,
said. Okay.
That's
Yeah,
brutal.
and
yeah,
they need a left-handed bat. So you know what, Alex Verdugo, will I think will be fit for the Astros.
yeah. That makes a
Well,
lot of
yeah,
sense.
dude.
That makes a
La-
lot of sense.
Yep. And the last guy is a guy that I'm not even sure is going to pitch. Maybe he'll retire, but he's on the list here. Max Scherzer.
Uh huh.
He's obviously close to retirement if he doesn't retire this year, but it looks like he wants to pitch. So where do you see Max Scherzer possibly ending up?
Man, who has the stomach for that?
Actually, here's a better question: who has the stomach to bring him and Verlander?
Oh, that's
Oh, good
right.
lord.
Verlander's a free
Yeah,
agent as well. Oh, I don't know why he's not on this list. Yeah, we can do both.
Yeah, and maybe the same team should sign both, and then they could get 12 starts combined between the two of them.
Oh, I'm trying to think. I could see this.
I don't know.
Could you see the Orioles getting him?
I could.
That I kind of like that actually. I kind of like that because their pitching staff is relatively set, and this would be somebody that could help, but not be fully dependent on.
Yep. And
That's
he's
the
got to
kind of
come down
situation.
on that price too, because he's not. he's not getting that 1 year $40 million deal.
No chance. No
He's
chance.
going to get he probably won't even get half. One
No,
year,
no. If he gets maybe like I'm thinking somewhere around 15.
yeah, 1 year 15 to 20 in that range, but under 20.
But you hit it. Even if it's not the Orioles, you hit the situation correctly. It's going to be a contending team that has a relatively solid staff and can afford a boomer bust option.
Yeah, and I don't know why more of these guys don't do this more. Remember when John Smoltz for like 2 years became a closer,
Mhm.
Yeah, no, he was incredible.
and he was awesome. I don't like why can't Max Scherzer go and try to be a closer somewhere,
Yeah, man. Ego is a killer sometimes, and
or
who knows?
Verlander for that matter.
Yeah,
You
and
know, and I bet you now, pitching 1 inning at a time could extend him out a little bit more, and he probably would be pretty good at it.
I wouldn't bet against it for sure. But I think a lot of times it's I am this and that's that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean in their
yeah,
minds, and that it's a shame because it could be it could and think about all the pitchers it could have extended careers on over the years.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah, yeah. Like if nobody wants these guys, and there's a chance that nobody signs them,
Yeah.
him or Verlander.
Yep.
But if they're willing to become closers or relievers, I bet you they would get signed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, I don't know. It's hard to say where they will go. Um, I, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where Scherzer will go. I don't have a fit for him.
Yeah, I threw up the Baltimore as the option for either one, but since there's
But
two of them, I'll give a second team. What about like a team like Milwaukee?
That's
yeah,
interesting. That's
I
interesting.
guess he's Scherzer
That
going.
makes some sense too. That they fit right into that category that we were just talking about with the Orioles, so that makes sense.
Yeah, because they went to the playoffs last year. They had a really good year, won the division. I mean, this could solidify things a little bit. Like you said, low risk really. So if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But it could really help them, and they're a
Well,
contending team.
I kind of like that maybe.
actually, here's my the thing with Verlander that I have is if he's not, because I don't think there's a market for him. Um, at least I haven't heard any. Then if maybe if he realizes that there's no market for him, decides to retire, I like to see at least 1 year with Detroit and then hang it up.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
I don't know. I'm a sucker for homecomings. I like homecomings.
I get that. I like that. Yes,
So you know
absolutely.
what?
That's cool.
Do basically do what Pujols did. You realize that he doesn't have it anymore. Signed with St. Louis, rode off into the sunset.
Yeah, I like it. I can see that happening.
Mhm.
That's a good call. I like that. You know, it's funny too because another team that fits this perfectly on the surface, but there's not a chance in hell because they just got burnt, is the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
Right, right. All right. Well, that is all the free agents. We're at 2 hours. So this was a long one. So anybody who's sticking with us, I want to thank them for listening and staying the long time. Hopefully, maybe you get through this on a couple car rides, something like
Yeah.
that. You know, I drive an hour to work, so maybe you drive an hour to work and you listen to half of it on the way in and half of it on the way home.
Yeah, that's the same distance it takes me to get to Sunnybrook in Pottstown. So I'm right there with you on that.
Okay, well, I just want to remind everybody that Jordan's podcast is called The Baseline. Make sure you check that out for all your baseball content, baseball needs. Uh, we mentioned it on the football one, but I want to mention again his Ricky Henderson tribute show was awesome
Yeah,
and really good stuff there. And we
well
continue
done,
Thank
with the
you.
Jordan.
lists. We continue with the lists of the greatest top 10 at every position. What is next, and when do we think we're going to get
So
to that?
next up, I said first baseman, and
Yep.
I don't know. I guess whatever works for you guys. Honestly.
Yeah, we said that after the holidays, but it's after the holidays now,
Uh,
so.
Yeah, I'm ready to schedule it whenever it works for you guys, man. I'm fired up and ready to. I did my preliminary a little while ago, and I'm ready to finalize it whenever it's go time.
All right. You want to try for next week?
Next Friday, or what are you thinking?
next Friday again.
Okay, that's yeah. Let's. Do you want to just do same time, same day?
I can do it
Yeah,
if Jordan's free and you're
I'm
free.
down. Let's do it.
All right.
I'm
All
in.
right, so we got that settled on the air. That's cool. So you guys now know next Friday will be the top 10 first baseman of all time. Each of us will have a list and check out the other ones we've already done. And Jordan's done a few on his own as well. And that's going to do it, guys.
Well, that was a freaking blast, man. Thank you both. Love doing this and love talking baseball. That was an absolute treat.
Yep. And now we just need, we're under 6 weeks from pitchers and catchers, by the way.
I love
Awesome.
it.
You
Let's
you
go. All
Two of my
right,
favorite
guys.
words in the English
you know.
language:
Listen,
pitchers and
you
catchers.
know, if anyone mentions baseball, I'm right there. You know.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
heck yeah, darn right.
so,
All right, guys.
huh?
Well, yeah, if there's nothing else, we can sign right off.
All right, my man. Thank you
Thank
again.
you.
Okay, until next time, I will see you later.